What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to some more Littleroot laddering. So we're playing Mocha's Littleroot qualifier winning team from a couple weeks back now. We have a Rumble today when this comes out. This is coming out on Saturday. Yes, today. So if you're interested in those, make sure you check out our Discord. There's going to be more events in the future. I believe we have a Rumble next weekend. That sounds right. So yeah, if you're interested in playing into some events and everything, check out the Discord. That link's always on the show notes. And let's just get to it. Top 5,000. Let's see how we can finish for the season. That season technically ends Monday. I actually wasn't sure when it didn't. So let's see what we got here. Charizard, Whimsicott, Thundurus, Rillaboom, Indeedee, Male, and Urshifu. So this is 1000% Sunny Day Whimsicott. I see no reason for this to be Prankster Thundurus, so that's cool. We have Taunt on Moltres. We have Grimmsnarl here. I have a feeling they're going to bring Charizard because we have Metagross and they're like, hey, that's a really good answer. We need to deal with that. I also have a feeling they bring Thundurus because like Landorus is a good check to Charizard, and so they want to be able to have a solid answer to Landorus as a way to punish us. So I think Whimsicott, and then probably their last slot. I could see Rillaboom just because it like deals with Feeny fairly well. I could see them bringing Urshifu because it's another answer to Metagross. So I like Grimmsnarl and Moltres with Spectre and Feeny in the back, I think. I think this is fine. Like, I think bringing Lando would be fine for exactly Charizard and, like, Rillaboom, of course. But I think the fear of Thundurus just means I don't want to bring it. Alright. Let's see. It's going to be Thundurus Rillaboom. Okay. So Moltres looks pretty okay here. So they fake out my Grimmsnarl. They max lightning into my Moltres, which then puts us below half. It's really unfortunate because I can't go for... How do we actually deal with this Thundurus? This is actually really not great for us, I'm not going to lie. So we'll go for the Reflect, and I think I'm going to Max Guard this turn. If they're going to max the Thundurus. So I want to go for a Max Guard this turn because I really want to get this Reflect up. And I have a feeling they go for the attack into the Moltres to try to remove it before I get a Reflect up. So I think this is the safest play and therefore the best play for us this turn. I wonder if they have Zard in the back. The fact that they're maxing Thundurus tells me I don't really need to worry about Charizard. That's what Charizard does well, is it Dynamaxes and is a huge threat then. Yep, there's the fake out. Is that a crit? No? That just did a lot. It's going to be Airstream into Grimmsnarl, which is not enough to remove us, so that's cool. So we could have gotten the Airstream off into the Rillaboom this turn, but the fear of losing our Moltres, I think, was worth it. Okay, so we could fake Tears plus Max Darkness into the Thundurus. That play ends terribly for us if they live. I'm sure Moltres can live a... No, it'll be a +2. I don't think we can live a +2 Max Lightning, so... Let's just Airstream the Rillaboom, set up a Reflect. Oh, they're faster than me. I'm going to lose Rillaboom here. That's really unfortunate. Yep. That's how Grassy Glide works, people. That's how Grassy Glide works. Luckily, that Knuckle does basically nothing. They're going to get their attack boost, which is mildly annoying. But we get our speed boost. They still outspeed us. Rillaboom goes down. I'm not going to lie, I thought it was actually going to live there, and it was going to reveal that it was Assault Vest, and I was going to be sad. So they have Thundurus here. They currently outspeed my Spectre because they have a speed boost. But I think bringing out Spectre and trying to get a Will-O-Wisp off is ideal this turn. They're going to bring out Whimsicott, so now they can definitely outspeed us. I could just go for a Snarl, anticipating the taunt. Problem with Snarl, I think if I was going to do that, I would rather just Shadow Ball here. Do we think Whimsicott has taunt? Do we think they go for taunt, or do they just set up a... You know what, I'm going to Will-O-Wisp this dork. I'm going to Airstream into the Whimsicott here. They're going to be Sash on Whimsicott. Okay, they just go for Tailwind. That's good. They're going to outspeed us, but I really don't care about that. They're going to Airstream, presumably into Spectre, and we live on 1 thanks to Focus Sash. Now, if we get this burn, we're in a very good position. We need to connect here. Moltres is going to attack first because we are faster, but we're going to get an Airstream onto the Spectre as well now. They're going to live on 1 as well. So they have a +2 speed, +1 attack, Tailwind boosted Thundurus right now. That's also burnt. They're not Life Orbs, so that probably means that's where their Assault Vest is. And then this turn we can go for Fiery Wrath. That'll pick up the KO on... We can Shadow Ball and we can Fiery Wrath. I'm fine losing Spectre here because then we get to bring in Feeny safely. I'm going to Wild Charge into Moltres. That's not going to be enough for the KO, but if they have Moonblast here, it's scary. Of course they have Moonblast, but they're going to Moonblast my Spectre here. Oh! Oh! Oh, well this changes things. So, this is a 1v1 with Feeny and whatever they have in the end game here. They have Tailwind. I think we win. Them having Zard here is really good for us. They have a Tailwind boosted Charizard, but I don't really care about that. Because we have Muddy Water. We could Calm Mind here. Is that greedy? Probably. How greedy is it, though? Extremely? We could Calm Mind this turn, Protect next turn. I mean, Zard still outspeeds us, so, like... I don't think trying to stall out their Tailwind is actually worth it. So I think double Muddy Water is probably just enough. No flinch. No flinch. No flinch. Okay, there's their life orb. Okay, no flinch. But we miss! Oh no! Feeny! Why do you gotta do me dirty like this? So we're dead to crit. But I think that's fine. No flinch. Come on, Feeny. Now, is this enough? That's the real question here. Yeah, sure. Okay. Thanks, Feeny. Good job. Hey, there's a crit. That makes up for missing last turn. Okay. So, losing Grimmsnarl there early to the Grassy Glide was kind of unfortunate. But at the same time, like, I don't think we had a safe switch in there. So, I think losing the Grimmsnarl was probably the best case scenario. That game would have been completely different had they actually just Moonblasted into the Moltres. And I think because of that, it was probably correct to just protect Moltres that turn and to Shadow Ball into the Thundurus. Like, I think reading into the double up is better than, I think the double up on their end is the better play. Alright, so we have a Metagross Mirror here. They're also going to be weakness policy thanks to Bulldoze on Entei. Oh, I'm really hoping I got that muted in time. P2, Moltres, Feeny, Grimmsnarl. So literally the differences here is they have Entei versus Spectrier, and we have Landorus versus P2, and like the differences here. Well, Spectrier seems really great because I think Metagross Spectrier is actually the lead, and we have Feeny here in the end game, so we can switch in if they lead Entei. We can anticipate them like going for the Sacred Fire and switching in Feeny to prevent the burn. And then I think I like Landorus. Do I like Landorus? I mean, it doesn't do anything against Metagross. Like, Intimidate doesn't do anything against Metagross. I kind of like Grimmsnarl, but I think if I bring Grimmsnarl, I want it on the lead. I could also just bring Moltres. Actually, I think this is fine. This lead's kind of poor against Moltres on the lead. I'm really hoping they go for Metagross, because I think our Metagross matchup is better than theirs. Like the mirror here. But it's going to be Grimmsnarl and Moltres. I mean, this is also just kind of fine, though. Because they're going to Darkness into my Metagross. And that's going to trigger my Policy. So we can just Snarl. And we can Steel Spike into the Grimmsnarl. That should remove it. Wonder if their Trick eject button would be bad. This also looks like they're going for a nasty plot on the Moltres, which is also not great. Yep, they're going to set up Reflect. We're going to get our Snarl off. We connect on both. I don't care about connecting on the Grimmsnarl. All I care about is connecting there on the Moltres. And they are going to nasty plot here. That's kind of scary. We're going to Steel Spike into the Grimmsnarl. Should not KO here. Close, but no cigar. So they're at +1 on Moltres. We can bring them back down to neutral. We can Quake into the Grimmsnarl to pick up the KO on it. Do they have a good switch into a Quake here? No, their only ground immunity is on the field, so I actually think Quake here into Grimmsnarl is pretty safe. They probably max Moltres now at +1. Could see a Airstream into the Spectre to outspeed it the following turn. And so Moltres is going to go back down to neutral here, pending that we hit the Snarl before they get their attack off. And they're just attacking with Grimmsnarl. Probably going to break our Sash here. Which, again, is whatever. Like, if we lose Spectre here, it's kind of not great. Yeah, it's Darkness into Spectre. Good read on their end. Not wanting to trigger my Metagross's policy. But now we're going to have Metagross at +1 special defense. And also Life Orb. Life Orb Nasty Plot is really interesting. But this is great because now, since the Grimmsnarl goes down here because Metagross outspeeds it, we get an extra turn with Spectre here on the field, so we can actually get another Snarl off. That's pretty great. It's pretty awesome, I'm not gonna lie. We could also trigger our policy and go for Lightning into the Moltres to remove it this turn. I don't think Moltres ever protects here. And Metagross at +1 should live a Quake from, a Darkness from Moltres, I would think. They're going to bring out Entei. Well, that's really unfortunate because now I need to switch so I don't get hit by Sacred Fire. That's really unfortunate. But I also really want to stay in. I don't think I definitely don't live a double up here. Unless I Snarl. I could Snarl here. And I think they double into Metagross this turn. So I could just Max Guard. I think if their play is to double up into Metagross to remove it, Max Guard makes the most sense. They're going to guard Moltres. Actually, this is actually pretty great for us. So what does Entei go for here? Are they going to Bulldoze? Nice crit. It doesn't really mean anything, but... They actually Sacred Fire into my Spectre. Interesting. So now I think we're going to bring in Landorus to get the attack drop on the Entei here and threaten both of their Mons. And I'm actually going to switch out Metagross into... Oh yeah, Inner Focus prevents Intimidate now. Yep, forgot about that. Oh well, that's still fine. This is then baiting the Max Darkness into, like, the double up into Metagross this turn. So what we can do is we can go for a Swords Dance. And we can switch out into Feeny. I like going for Swords Dance here because then we threaten both of their Mons on the next turn here. Question is, do they go for Darkness or do they go for Airstream? If they Sacred Fire into Landorus, that's fine because we have Lum. It is Darkness. Into Feeny. It does a non-zero amount of damage. This is unfortunate because the Moltres does outspeed Landorus, but I'm pretty okay with that, to be honest. And Landorus outspeeds Entei, so that's good to know. So does a -1 special defense Landorus take a Fiery Wrath from from the from the Moltres now. Moltres could protect. I definitely think we just Rock Slide, and I think we go for Muddy Water here. Could also be right to protect the Feeny this turn to get a little more recovery. But I think Moltres just goes for Fiery Wrath. They don't have Berserk. They're at neutral. Landorus is at -1. They have Extreme Speed Entei. It actually does a sizable chunk. Landorus holds on. Landorus doesn't flinch. Alright, we missed the Entei. That's fine, though. We're fine with that. Oh, no. How does Moltres live a +2 Rock Slide? Alright, we connected. We connected the one that mattered. Accuracy drop on the Entei? Nope. Okay. So I think the play this turn is to switch Entei out. Switch Landorus out. They have Metagross as their last. Okay. I think we can do this. So we'll switch Landorus out into Metagross. And we will protect this turn. This is probably Extreme Speed plus Ice Punch. Could also be Iron Head into Feeny. Oh, they're just gonna Bulldoze. Their policy triggers first. Does that mean they're faster? Or does it always do theirs first? This is really interesting. Do they have Earthquake or do they have Stomping Tantrum? I think we have to bank on Metagross outspeeding theirs. I don't really like that play. We'll switch Feeny out here. I'm fine with letting Metagross go down. This Intimidate obviously doesn't mean anything. They're Inner Focus plus Clear Body. I just don't want Feeny to go down this turn. Sacred Fire into Metagross, and unfortunately that's going to be game. Yep, that's really unfortunate because we definitely don't live a double up now. I think our opponent going for the Moltres route this game is actually correct now that I actually think about this. I think Moltres lines up better against everything that they have going on than what, like, in the matchup here. I think Grimmsnarl Moltres is the correct lead, and I think our opponent identified that. And I think the reason is Moltres lines up neutrally against itself, but super effectively against Metagross. So I think the fact that, like, because of that, it makes a huge difference as to, like, the plays that we want to make. So the fact that our opponent was able to identify that, and I didn't until I had submitted, means that they had the advantage going into this game. And they played well. Luckily, we still had Snarl on our Spectre to prevent a huge amount of damage from the Moltres. And we missed the Metagross. That's unfortunate. So we're going to pick up the KO most likely on Entei. Probably not, now that we're at -1. And Iron Head should pick up the KO here. Yep. So what was... I think actually what cost us was switching out Landorus there. So had we protected plus gone for Earthquake that turn, the Bulldoze obviously doesn't hit us. We outspeed the Metagross, so we don't have to worry about it taking out Entei. Plus, they went for Iron Head. I mean, we don't have to worry about the Iron Head going into Landorus. So then had we just read them going for the Bulldoze there, then we just pick up a double KO. Because we're at +2. But I don't think that play was actually correct from our opponent's end. I think had they just gone for the extreme speed into Landorus, I think that game was also just won. Really interesting. I mean, ultimately, their Metagross either outsped ours or won the speed tie, one of the two. I don't think we have speed investment on our Metagross. There's a non-zero chance that they have speed investment. Oh, we actually are a very speedy Metagross. Okay, so they have Raichu, Spectrier, Incineroar, Celesteela, Garchomp, and Clef. I think I like Metagross quite a lot here. It lands up really poorly against exactly Garchomp. So if they do Clef Garchomp as a lead, that's pretty poor for us. But we also have Landorus here that we can switch in appropriately. What does Moltres do here? Nothing, honestly. Like it deals with Spectrier. We can hit Celesteela neutrally, but end of the day, I'm not a huge fan of it. So I think this is another one where Moltres stays home and we just do Metagross, Spectrier, Landorus, and I want Feeny or Grimmsnarl here in the end game. I think Grimmsnarl I lied. I want Moltres here because then we can deal with Celesteela in the end game, I think. I think Moltres lines up better against Celesteela than Feeny or Grimmsnarl do. Especially if it is the Leech Seed substitute Protect variant instead of the Assault Vest or Power Herb versions that have been running around. If it is Power Herb, then obviously Moltres doesn't line up great against it, but this is going to be Raichu Garchomp. I'm pretty okay with this. They should just max Garchomp here, right? So we can just go for Will-O-Wisp. And I kind of like Steel Spike into the Raichu. It's going to break a potential Sash. And give us a... Actually, we could just Steel Spike into the Garchomp. Could also just Protect and have them trigger our policy. I like going for Steel Spike into the Garchomp here. I think getting this defense boost is good. Most likely they are going to nuzzle into my... Oh. Okay. Well, that's kind of annoying. The positive thing here is we're able to deal with the Celesteela if we can deal with the Raichu because we have Thunder Punch here. So that's cool. So going for Quake into the Raichu would have been correct this turn had I properly read the Celesteela switch. I think the Spectre here on the lead just threatens the Garchomp enough where they don't want to stay in on it. Plus we missed the Will-O-Wisp anyway. Yep, there's the Nuzzle. We still get the Steel Spike off, so that's good. Actually does a non-zero amount of damage. So what we can do this turn is we can go for the Bulldoze, and we can go for the Quake into Raichu, trigger our policy, and remove this Raichu from play. And then we'll be at +1 special defense for the Celesteela. Yeah, I actually don't care about that, so that's fine. There's the Bulldoze. We connect on both, as we should. Hey, look at that. There's a weakness policy. Who would have ever guessed that? Raichu's speed is dropped. They're still faster than us. They're going to nuzzle into my Spectre, which is annoying. Not the end of the world, just annoying. And we get the Quake off. Okay. Cool. So now we're at +1 special defense, +1 defense. Unfortunately, Spectre is now slower than Garchomp, which is potentially problematic. They should just bring out Garchomp here, right? And should just remove... Oh, they're going to bring in Ensign. Well, a Quake into that slot is like the safest thing I've ever done in my life. And we can switch into... Does switching into Moltres accomplish anything here? Does preserving Spectre do anything for us? Could just stay in and snarl. We know they're not Assault Vest on the Celesteela. Or also just Shadow Ball it. I like snarling here. And I like quaking into the Ensign. Ensign never has Protect, so don't have to fear that. Spectre is still the fastest thing on the field, even while being paralyzed. That's pretty great. There's the Meteor Beam, so they are in fact Power Herb. Really glad I didn't switch Spectre out now. This is going to put them back to neutral, but they should miss my Spectre, so that's pretty great. And we're parried on Metagross. That's unfortunate. And it's really annoying, but whatever. Not the end of the world. So I can just go for another Snarl here. And we're going to go for the Stomping Tantrum into Ensign. They probably protect Celesteela this turn if I was a betting man. Could also switch Ensign out. They still have their Dynamax to play with, so that's important to note. But I think they're just always going to max the Garchomp here in this endgame. Fluid Woods presumably in the Metagross. We should live that up all day. No para? No para. Cool. Now they bring out Garchomp. They Dynamax it this turn. We switch Spectre out into Moltres, anticipating the Max Quake into that slot, and we protect Metagross this turn. Does protecting Metagross do anything? Actually, we go into Landorus because that gets a Intimidate off. And we protect here. I think the real play was actually to double switch and anticipate the Quake into one of these slots and just make them waste a turn of their Dynamax. But see, this way we bait the Quake this turn, and then we bait the Quake next turn as well. So we might be able to make them waste 2 turns of their Dynamax here. Are you Life Orb? Are you White Herb? What item do you have here on your Garchomp? No White Herb. Oh, it is White Herb. Okay. I thought it would have triggered before the Celesteela did. No max on the Garchomp, so are they Swords Dancing here? That's really not good, I'm not gonna lie to y'all. That's like really bad. Well, Landorus, it's been fun, buddy. So now I'm going to go back into Spectre. Metagross is going to go into Moltres this turn. Because they are 1,000% going to max Garchomp now that it's at +2. Presumably Rock Slide and... you don't ever see Garchomp with Dragon coverage. Man, after playing the first couple turns, okay, I don't feel great about this end game. Protect on the Garchomp. That doesn't mean anything. Air Slash presumably into Spectrier. Okay. So I'm going to Will-O-Wisp the Garchomp here. We'll switch into Landorus. I just need to loop Landorus as many possible times as I can here in this end game. The fact that they have Protect plus Sword Stance tells me that they don't have Dragon coverage. It's going to be Rock Slide plus Earthquake, presumably. There's the max. Please don't be Rock Slide. It's probably Rock Slide. But I'm really hoping for Quake. I'm also really hoping Spectre still outspeeds this thing, but I know it doesn't. Yep, there's the Rockfall. Please be into... Okay. Landorus goes down. That's really unfortunate, but that means Spectre lives and we can get a burn off. Okay. Spectre, thank you. The question is, do you hold on from a flash cannon? No. No, you do not. So now they're going to get a beast boost. Probably tells me that they're special attack invested. Yeah, okay. So now we have Metagross Moltres versus a Dynamax Garchomp and a +1 Celesteela. I believe they're +1. Does Moltres live a hit from Garchomp if we don't protect? They are +1. Okay. I'm going to Thunder Punch the Celesteela. And I think I just had to Fiery Wrath. I think I had to be offensive here. I don't think I have another option. Okay, they're going to protect Celesteela, so we're probably going to lose Metagross this turn. Yep. Could have protected Metagross here. The question is how much does this do? And the fact that Garchomp outspeeds our Moltres could be very important here. Especially since they're getting a special defense boost on both of their Mons. That does approximately 0 damage. Welp. Now we protect. Burn their last turn at Dynamax. Hope they miss Rock Slide next turn. This is going to put us into Berserk range, presumably. Should have protected Metagross last turn. I think it was... Like, actually thinking about this, I think it's fairly obvious that they attack into the Metagross there. And it's actually not enough to put us into Berserk either. So that's really unfortunate. We should live a Rock Slide, though. The problem is they live a Fiery Wrath. Yeah, this isn't looking great. So we'll go for our flinches, I guess. Hope that Fiery Wrath plus Burn is enough to take Garchomp out this turn. But based on the damage that the first one did, I don't think it's going to be enough. So if we crit through their Quake boost, then I think it's a chance. I think if we crit the Garchomp, we can win, but I need them to I need them to Meteor Beam. Just waste a turn with your Celesteela, please. Especially now that I've revealed Protect, there's no chance they ever do that. Protect on the Garchomp. Okay, they just double Protect. This is pretty okay. So now I can Protect this next turn. I mean, they're just making this easier for Moltres to clean up here. So we protect this turn. Do we? Do we protect this turn? I actually think the answer is no. Oh, the fact that they went for Swords Dance here is really not great. Crit the Garchomp, please. That wasn't a crit on either of them. They do go for Meteor Beam. Which is unfortunate because the Life Orb chip is going to puts us below half so we don't get the Berserk trigger. I think the Berserk trigger was actually really important for this game. I also don't think we ever had a chance to actually get one. I don't want to die to Meteor Beam. And a +3 Rock Slide from a burnt Garchomp should be enough to take us out. I would think. We're probably also in Flash Cannon range now that they're +2. So I think we need to miss the Rock Slide and flinch the Celesteela this turn while they hit. And that's enough. Well, that's unfortunate. That is a little unfortunate. Really close game. I definitely don't think I played this well. I think... What could we have done differently? I think having the paralysis on... I think, like, the fact that we didn't bring Feeny for that end game and instead we brought Moltres was kind of unfortunate because that also meant that they were able to get the paralysis on Metagross. Had we brought Feeny, we could have instead switched on one, switched Spectre out to prevent the Nuzzle, to then Quake, I think... We need to remove the Raichu as soon as possible so then Metagross can potentially deal with the Celesteela. But the problem is once we switch out into Feeny, they're able to bring back in Garchomp because they're no longer feared of getting burnt from Spectre because of the terrain. So then we're reliant on getting Landers back in to be able to intimidate them, but they have the White Herb. So, it's really awkward gameplay then, but I think the, first thing to do into that game is not bring Moltres and instead bring Feeny. Because then Spectre outspeeds Garchomp, we can get the Will-O-Wisp off then. Spectre was also really good for that game because we were able to snarl the Celesteela. But, yeah, I mean, it was a really interesting game, but end of the day... an L is an L, so that's going to be it. So let's throw up this rental team one more time. Mocha, thank you so much for sending this in, man. This team is great. I've enjoyed this week playing it. So, like, comment, subscribe, everyone. Pick up this rental code while it's available, and we'll be back next week with some more Littleroot laddering. Have a good one. Peace.